Walking on air can make you feel 100 feet tall, but you don't have a floor to stand on. The fall still hurts, but the rush of falling is more exhilarating and horrific. The thoughts before hitting the ground come a lot faster, and they hurt more than the fall itself. But when you were walking on air, you are the most free you have ever been. What could I give to walk on air, to be 100 feet tall? Creativity for me is my joy and my purpose. There is no greater joy in my life than living in my creativity. But I fear the weight of failing my creative ambitions. And the anxiety that I feel from the fear haunts me. Am I good enough? Why am I still not improving? Can I succeed? Am I worthy of success? It's crushing to crave the freedom of living in my creativity, but also wonder if I can feed myself, have a roof over my head, and make the sacrifices that my loved ones have made for me worth it. This inner battle has resulted in a lot of depression and anxiety, but also in inaction. In life, especially in art, you grow from your failures. We improve our skills by doing. Artists can have a lot of bad works in them before we get to the point where we are happy with our own work and skills. When you're afraid to fail, you can get stuck in the mentality of not doing anything because the only way not to fail is to not try, right? Wrong. From what I've learned over my experiences is that not trying is failure in itself because you're failing yourself, your dreams, your potential, and the happiness that you can bring to others. But from my failures, I've learned a few things. Hello, I go by Pumpkin with a Monocle, or PWAM for short, but that's not my real name, Avi. PWAM is the embodiment of the dreams of a little girl who used to tell scary ghost stories with her mom before bedtime. The one who used to draw all day, every day, even at family dinners and events. She had a dream to become a famous artist and author. And just like all the greats, she too would have a pen name that everyone would get to know her works by. She held on to that dream and that name, practicing her signature for when she became a big-time famous artist. Then, one day, she tried a signature that looked like a jack-o'-lantern with a monocle, and that's how PWAM was born, hiding the signature of the famous author Angelina Wings. But as that little girl grew up, she began to compare herself to other artists who were better than her. And no matter how hard she tried, her art couldn't be better. She was told that she wasn't very good at writing, being put into special classes because she didn't pass the test that she needed to, nor could she understand grammar and all the confusing rules. She saw that people didn't think she was that smart, and maybe she wasn't. So how could her stories ever be that good if she wasn't good? But the dream, the love, the creativity never went out. It still burned within her heart, but it became harder to still be that little girl who wanted to draw forever. Then, one day, her friend came to her with a story idea that sparked the flames of creativity within her. And oh, did she soar on that creative high. She overflowed with so many ideas that she became overwhelmed. She started to write them down to save them for later. Yeah, for later. Music flowed within her mind that she never heard of, but she didn't have the know-how to execute the melodies, nor the knowledge on how to write them down. Comedic and emotional scenes between characters danced across her mind, but she didn't know how to draw them. Nothing ever looked right. Nothing was ever right. Even when she was happy with it, even when she improved. It was all too much, and time was running out. The real world, filled with bills, responsibilities, and strife, was coming into view. She was no longer a child who could dream. She needed to be practical. She needed to be smart. And she wasn't good enough like all the others who've succeeded. So, all those fun new projects and all the things she needed to learn got pushed away. The longer time went on, the further those projects and skills got away from her, until she began to drown in the anxiety of how much time had passed, how much she still hasn't done, and how she still wasn't good enough. But that flame of creativity never died, not once. It might have shrunken, so small and insignificant that it could have been ignored. But it would flare up and roar. She held on to that project that fanned her flame. Time passed and circumstances changed. And the friendship that started that project she held on to ended. And she thought the spark that came with it was gone. She was falling. It was dark, scary, and filled with a lot of echoey voices that said the most meanest things she's ever heard. Paralyzed and indecision because there was the thing she really wanted. What was living? What did it mean to be alive? She didn't know. She fell for quite some time, until she decided to pick up that old project she started with her friend all those years ago. Nothing big, she thought. She just never knew what some characters looked like. Then she fell. For a second time, but this time she fell in reverse, being thrown high into the sky, buzzing with more joy and direction than she's ever felt in years. The path in the sky is undefined and can be wobbly at times. She wants to sprint, but she's learning to crawl before she walks. And crawling is such a slow way to move, but hey, she's moving. Even if she needs to move back sometimes, she's still moving forward. This video wasn't easy to make. Not only is it super personal, but I was still fighting that inner battle every step of the way. I was so anxious to get started. And I'm still not even sure if this video will even be seen by anybody. I don't even know if it's any good. But I do know I'll definitely look back on this video and cringe. Because I'll be so much better. And I'm better because I made the video. Because I took the chance on myself. I'm not completely happy with my abilities yet. But I'm getting better at art and at comparing myself to others. Other people are not the standard for your abilities. We all have our own way of and pace of living. It doesn't mean that we're any less for it. You'll get to where you want in time, in patience, and by loving yourself through the process. I'm finally giving myself the time, patience, and love that I need to grow into the confident artist that I know I can be. I'm not perfect, but I do feel the difference. I'm happier. I've learned that I've been giving myself these strict, rigid rules in which I had to live by. I needed to do certain things by a certain milestone, and since I wasn't meeting those expectations, then I was a failure. And I basically came to the conclusion that if I wasn't a young prodigy who made it on social media before the age of 20, that it was impossible for me to achieve my dreams, which is stupid. There are no rules. I didn't feel my shot collar go off when I wasn't better at drawing bodies by 20. I wasn't called into court when I missed my opportunity to make it big on YouTube before 2018. I just threw myself into a mental prison for fabricated crimes. But I was the one who threw myself into prison, and I did it to protect myself. Oh God, I sound like a bad boyfriend or a parent who abuses you for your own good. He hits me because he loves me, but that's not love. Oh God, I can't live off of candy and spending money on blankets and clothes. But I can't beat myself up for every perceived failure. There's a balance. Where? I'm still looking. It's a process to undo what has become a habit. You can't press a button and undo every bad habit you have. Life is a roller coaster. There are highs and lows that toss you all around and make your stomach flip. But it's also the lows that make the highs all the more thrilling. And healing your inner wounds can feel like a lot. Sometimes you have a really good day, week, or even a month. Then the next thing you know, you're back to where you started, wondering what the freak happened. There are a lot of emotions you need to release in order to move forward. But when you take the time to work with yourself and to love yourself through the process, you can feel pretty damn good. I overwhelmed myself with all the things that I wanted to do, and with all the stuff that I needed to do in order to do the things that I wanted, while trying to figure out how to be a functioning member of society on top of that. And I let myself freeze in anxiety. I thought I had to pick one thing and stick with that, even if it meant that I hit a wall. It wasn't until I stepped back I was able to assess my needs and desires. And it was a big list. I had to start with what made sense to me, which was my mental state, which consisted of eating non-garbage foods, drinking water through the day, and saying nice things to myself. And it was way easier to learn to like oatmeal than it was learning to say nice things to myself when I failed. And I have a weird thing with texture, which made having oatmeal hard. But now I crave oatmeal. But I still struggle to say nice things to myself whenever I get frustrated. You stupidly wonderful person. Now, let's just hit the reverse button and try. Oh, you can't because it's paper. You moron. I recommend music. Anything by Albert Hart, honestly. He's my jam. I have a lot of projects I've been working on and wanting to work on, and the sheer amount of it is overwhelming. I've learned to break up my work into steps and to set goals for myself. For me, I have a bit of ADD, a touch of the tism, and a propensity to break down whenever I'm overworked. So, I started developing 3 projects that I was the most excited about, and to leave the other projects for whenever I'm ready, and to hoard all the random ideas that I got in arguably a really bad system. I already know it's going to be a pain finding them later. But I started by setting deadlines, with the simplest project having the first deadline. I classified my projects as small, medium, and gigantic, based on the amount of work that was needed in order to complete them. My small project was basically completed years ago. I just needed to edit and finish it. And I just switched between projects, typically based on mood or whenever I got stuck on one. This kept my creative flow going, but I also kept in mind my deadlines and made sure to switch if I needed to meet a deadline. And I kept my deadlines in about month increments to start off with, like writing a chapter in a month and editing draft 1 of my story in a month. I also did weekly deadlines for certain types of drawings since I'm in the habit of drawing almost every night. I'm the type of person where if I'm doing one thing and I get into it, I do a lot of it. So by doing this method, I'm actually months ahead of schedule. For one of my stories, I was supposed to be on chapter 14 by now, but I'm actually on chapter 25. Not a lot, but it's getting done. But these are things that work for me. I've been trying to work with myself and not against myself. If I treated my creative works as I did with schoolwork, I would never get it done because there was no external drive that was forcing me to do it. For all my creatives out there, my message to you as someone who has struggled to let myself be creative is to just do it. Just paint, sing, dance, draw, whatever your joy is, go for it. Because the anxiety of thinking about it isn't worth the trouble it's causing you. And in all honesty, you use way less energy doing the thing you're anxious about than freaking yourself out thinking about it. Just break it up into baby steps. You don't need to sprint into it. It's okay to learn how to crawl before you walk, as long as you move forward. And yes, you are worth it. And yes, you can succeed. It just takes time. And you need to be the one who gives you that time and to cheer yourself on, because at the end of the day, your life matters most to the one person. You. It's your life. No one else can live it for you. And it's okay to live it and to live it being your creative self. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button to let me know. And if you're able to relate, then leave a comment down below and share your experience in your creative journey. I hope we can build a community to be each other's strengths in our own journeys. I have a video in the works that goes over the 3 projects that I'm working on. If you'd like to hear about those, please subscribe and hit that bell to get notified when that comes out. And let me know if there's any other content you would like to see from me down in the comments. I would appreciate it. I have a lot of speed paint shorts if that's your cup of tea. Oh, and after recording this video, I finally got a microphone, so the sound quality will improve. So woohoo, no more choppy audio. Alrighty. I hope you have a lovely day. Until next time.